A little simplification would be the first step toward rational living, I think. Ambition is pitiless. Any merit that it cannot use it finds despicable. Anyone who thinks must think of the next war as they would of suicide. As for accomplishments, I just did what I had to do as things came along. Autobiographies are only useful as the lives you read about and analyze may suggest to you something that you may find useful in your own journey through life. Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway. You'll be damned if you do, and damned if you don't. Freedom makes a huge requirement of every human being. With freedom comes responsibility. For the person who is unwilling to grow up, the person who does not want to carry his own weight, this is a frightening prospect. Friendship with oneself is all important, because without it one cannot be friends with anyone else in the world. Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. Happiness is not a goal, it is a byproduct. Hate and force cannot be in just a part of the world without having an effect on the rest of it. Have convictions, be friendly, stick to your beliefs as they stick to theirs, work as hard as they do. I believe that anyone can conquer fear by doing the things he fears to do, provided he keeps doing them until he gets a record of successful experience behind him. I have spent many years of my life in opposition, and I rather like the role. I think that somehow, we learn who we really are and then live with that decision. I think, at a child's birth, if a mother could ask a fairy godmother to endow it with the most useful gift, that gift should be curiosity. I used to tell my husband that, if he could make me understand something, it would be clear to all the other people in the country. If life were predictable, it would cease to be life, and be without flavor. In all our contacts, it is probably the sense of being really needed and wanted which gives us the greatest satisfaction and creates the most lasting bond. In the long run, we shape our lives, and we shape ourselves. The process never ends until we die, and the choices we make are ultimately our own responsibility. It is not fair to ask of others what you are not willing to do yourself. It isn't enough to talk about peace, one must believe in it, and it isn't enough to believe in it, one must work at it. It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Life must be lived and curiosity kept alive. One must never, for whatever reason, turn his back on life. My experience has been that work is almost the best way to pull oneself out of the depths. Never allow a person to tell you no who doesn't have the power to say yes. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. One's philosophy is not best expressed in words, it is expressed in the choices one makes, and the choices we make are ultimately our responsibility. Only a man's character is the real criterion of worth. People grow through experience if they meet life honestly and courageously. This is how character is built. Remember always that you not only have the right to be an individual, you have an obligation to be one. Since you get more joy out of giving joy to others, you should put a good deal of thought into the happiness that you are able to give. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. The giving of love is an education in itself. The only things one can admire at length are those one admires without knowing why. Understanding is a two-way street. We are afraid to care too much, for fear that the other person does not care at all. We gain strength and courage and confidence by each experience in which we really stop to look fear in the face. We must do that which we think we cannot. What one has to do usually can be done. What you don't do can be a destructive force. When life is too easy for us, we must beware, or we may not be ready to meet the blows which sooner or later come to everyone, rich or poor. When you cease to make a contribution, you begin to die. With the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. You can never really live anyone else's life, not even your child's. The influence you exert is through your own life and what you've become yourself. You can't move so fast that you try to change the mores faster than people can accept it. That doesn't mean you do nothing, but it means that you do the things that need to be done according to priority. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I lived through this horror, I can take the next thing that comes along. You have to accept whatever comes, and the only important thing is that you meet it with courage and with the best that you have to give. You must do the things you think you cannot do.